Hello, welcome into 321 Presents. Of course, I am your narrator for this episode. My name is Zach.
I'm your editor for this episode, Nick.
With me, I do have my editor for the episode, Nick. Of course, as we've gone through the holidays. We've done the whole dropping of the things.
Yep.
Because, boy, would that be a fun little edit to have. But we are in a new chapter, and the chapter is 2026. Along with that comes a whole bunch of new stories that are going to be told, but also the finishing up of stories that are still being told as we go through today. Things such as the Nuggets keep being decimated by injuries.
Absolutely brutal stretch here.
Brutal stretch for them. Broncos potentially taking a number 1 seed along with them thanks to the Los Angeles Chargers sitting people. We have new series coming along that we may or may not know of, and some rebirths of some old series coming along, like the Scrubs, the Malcolm in the Middles of the world, a few other things, and some new leagues starting up, like, well, I guess not starting up, but restarting the TDL, where we get to play basically top golf, professional top golf, where we get to play simulated golf amongst all the PGA Tour players. It's good time.
Interesting.
You get to play in the winter.
Okay.
Yeah, indeed. And for us, I decided that we'll start in the media sector, because what other sector tells a story better than media? Well, a lot of them do. But depending on the media platform, neither here nor there. Everything is a story.
A different discussion.
But in the media sector, we can talk a little bit about all the new things coming up and some of the things that just finished, like our favorite Stranger Things, where we've seen children go from the smallest little children being picked off Broadways and from commercials and everywhere else in the world, flying all across the pond for some of them, which I did not know how many UK actors and European actors that we had on the television shows these days.
The hidden Brits.
The hidden Brits. They are very hidden. I can never tell.
Yeah, that's how you know they're good.
But they did finally wrap after 10 years of, not quite 10 years, just
Pretty
shy
close.
of 10 years.
Yeah.
9 and some change years of recording and editing and producing of media.
And yeah, of playing the iconic characters. Of course, irony of it being this like standout bit of media of this era of like the 2020s, late 20-teens, is that it is a series of emulating the 80s top to bottom.
Yeah, very much so. And one of the things that came along with the ending of this, like we said, it's been on for 9+ years. It's almost gone to middle school. We're so very, very close itself. But for a lot of people, it's been around for what they've known as their whole life or a majority of their lifetimes. And for us who've been around with it or saw it grow as we've gone along, having to not wait anymore for any more episodes, and that we are not going to get any more episodes. The story does finish, and it had me thinking, can a story keep continuing? The answer is always going to be no, because the story must end. If it's a good story, you have to wrap it up in some fashion.
That's just like part of the technical format of good, quote unquote good storytelling, of like why we have 3-act structures and everything. If you don't follow the pattern, it kind of ruins the story. If you don't go through an arc of highs and lows and climaxes and denouements with a character, you don't really get the same stuff out of it. And if you do go through that journey and then repeat it too many times, it either feels like, okay, these are actually not substantial, or they're not like sticking, and then it lessens them in the aftermath of it.
I am curious what your thoughts are, and do you think there could ever be some sort of series or whatever it might be where the story sort of grows with the people? Like we start off with something like a Stranger Things, maybe it's an animation or whatnot, where we take these kids, and as the kids grow, we kind of get sort of different versions of the stories before they, it's almost like a little bit of a storytelling of life, but is it possible in a media perspective?
I mean, Harry Potter kind of did that.
They were pretty close.
Pretty closely with the character counterparts in the book. I mean,
I like that we have the asterisks of the book there.
Yeah.
Dirty old Daniel Radcliffe over here playing
The
Harry
movies
Potter.
did not pace quite as well. It's generally fairly easy to do in those like sort of coming of age stories. I think Percy Jackson's another one where I don't remember if they're still working on a new one or
from what I know of the series, and I am for sure not your resident books expert unless it's in audio.
No, I'm pretty certain
But
the books are of complete series now, but they're doing another television version.
They're doing a television series that very closely follows the books, which is gonna be kind of feels like a Stranger Things Harry Potter situation where you gotta go with some of the filming of stuff.
And it's why it's like studios have to be pretty confident in a project to try and go for it on a let's follow the kids through specific ages, because it's much easier to say like we're going to cast a 10-year-old version of the character, we're going to cast a 17-year-old version of the character, and we'll cast an adult version of the character or something, and have 3 separate human beings play that part or something in a show. Nowadays, with the de-aging technology, that is also opening up some potentials, but
creepy.
It's, kind of hit or miss.
There's some good ones, and there are some horrendous ones.
Exactly. And it really pick your poison on what quality of it is going to come out.
For you, would you rather prefer having the story sort of continue on and you get your sort of weekly dose, even if potentially it becomes a less potent dose, or would you rather have a story that ends? I mean, whenever it ends, it doesn't always feel good, because it's like, now what do? I have to go into a little bit of an existential crisis of things.
Yeah, no, I think it's kind of philosophical, but like endings are necessary. It's like they're, as part of the universe, we know that there are cycles involved in them, and that they have beginnings and endings, and they have to be acknowledged, and therefore that makes itself part of our storytelling, because we also have to, as a tool for passing lessons down through the generations, a pretty good one to try and be aware of and be prepared for inevitable endings that come in your life. So when stories or media don't reflect that, it's, I think, removes them from a layer of like Simpsons have been the same age for 30 years now. And it's like a running joke of like, this 8-year-old was born in 1988 or something and has done 30-something 8th birthdays, but they never grow up or anything. And so that makes The Simpsons, for all like, the pathos and the lessons that we learn following the characters, we also kind of understand their universe to not be the same as ours, because nothing is changing. There are no consequences. It feels like when you do it that way in the storytelling. So that's, to me, my favorite stories are ones that tackle doing the ending. And most of the time, most of my favorites, the endings are done fairly well, I would say. I don't think like not everyone agrees on how good all endings are, but
it's always interesting to see who determines what a good ending is, and I guess it's to each its own what a good ending is.
Yeah, it's fairly subjective, but I mean, famous instances of controversial endings. You've got The Sopranos Blackout. You've got the How I Met Your Mother finale, where the mom person is in all of like 3 episodes after a 10-year run, and then it turns out that it's just Robin anyway that Ted gets together with. Spoiler for a 15-year-old show.
Big spoilers. Come on now.
Versus, do you have any endings in your head that stick out as like, that was satisfying, or that was like worthwhile and makes me feel like it was worth it to have gotten to this point? Because I feel, to me, that's kind of my criteria for good ending, is if it's, or like, I guess I would define a bad ending as one that leaves me with a feeling of, what was the point? Nothing, either no lessons were learned, no truths were exposed. I didn't get any emotional value out of this, and why was I here the whole time?
That's fair. I think the new Stranger Things is up there for me for new endings. Cowboy Bebop is another one that hits home for me. I can't, off the top of my head, think of very many endings that like have stuck with me, or that I felt like, oh, that was cool, versus and we're done.
Yeah. So this is, speaking of a franchise I've already talked a little smack about, Harry Potter, books versus movies. The books, I would say, nail the ending pretty solidly. Movies, terrible. Absolute dog water. But, from the book perspective, very satisfying, very cinematically described and poetically appropriate, thematically appropriate ending with a classic showdown and a big triumphant high, and then just enough of a runway to let us off gently out of that emotional high to make you feel like, okay, I can leave the story now and feel okay that all the characters I love and whatnot are gonna make it.
What is more memorable for you? Is it a good ending that makes you feel this way, or do you remember if we kind of came up with the analogy of we're taking off from the plane, and is it getting shot out of the air, or am I just completely I'm splat on tarmac right now? Are those more memorable than the ones that are like, that was nice, I feel good about that, or the ones that are like maybe hit you a little bit more close to home?
I mean, in terms of like favorability, the ones that are smooth landings definitely are preferred, but there have definitely been like, I'm trying to think of the real crash and burn scenarios in terms of ending.
And to be maybe to their credit, like if we are using the airplane analogy, like not many people remember a lot of the times that the plane lands, but a lot of people are going to remember when the plane crashed.
Yes, absolutely. You can do the bare minimum and get the plane down with like no fanfare and no one was disturbed, and that's like, solid, fine. You landed the plane, and some people, you get the landing with the pizzazz, and it's you're like, yes, perfect, great.
Everyone clap now.
Yeah. 3 cheers to the pilot.
He never gets cheered. I don't know why we never cheer the pilot, but we are clapping because
there's like a pretty consistent, I would say, like thumbprint on projects and like stories that are getting made and then have like the rug pulled out from under them. The real famous one for me in my fandoms went out Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2, the sequel to the classic KOTOR. It's like so good, so fun, loving every bit of it up until about the 80% point, and then you're like, oh, and now we're at the end, and oh, we're done with the end, and that's it. That's the game? Apparently that's the game.
The credits are rolling.
Yeah, and that's basically the feeling you get when that sort of thing happens, when it's just like, oh, nope, they ran out of time, ran out of money, and we're not as close to the runway as they thought they were.
No, I think that's fair. I mean, I think it is tough to say, like, the ones who do it well, and maybe that's partly is my fault, or partly what I'm going through is, like, when you say endings that stick with you, there's, like, I have my favorite show, of course, Cowboy Bebop, and the one I just finished, Stranger Things. It's tough to think about, like, how a show ended, at least for me, like, if it's not anything that's, like, I'm going to hit you right in the feels. The only other one that I can think of, like, right off the top of my head is Scrubs, which leads to a different question I have, but that's the only ones that come to my mind, like, really, when I think of an ending of a show. I don't, and maybe I'm not finishing enough shows. That could be a thing.
Very few like shows and franchises go on long enough for like a number of people to be aware and like care, and then even fewer of those have like memorable endings. Like, Seinfeld was a cultural institution of the 90s that everyone kind of tuned in for the end of that. The other thing that happens is like the reboot era has sort of nullified those endings in several occasions.
That was going to be my next question, is with some of these reboots coming around, Scrubs and Malcolm in the Middle are the two big ones coming this year, do we still get to enjoy sort of the ending and the story of the first set that we got?
I think if it's written well, reboots will leave the original untouched and continue on. I think a faithful adaptation shouldn't, be incorporating something that's like, oh, well, if that's true, then why didn't, that makes all of the original make no sense type of thing. Like you can fudge things up that way, or just like if you bring someone like a character back and it's like, well, that's not how they acted back in the original. Like those types of things stick out like a sore thumb. So, but it definitely does get done poorly as well. I'm pretty confident in the quality of the Scrubs one, because we know it's the whole gang is here, and it's the old cast and crew and all the same writers and whatnot. So not too hard to get back on the bicycle in that one and get going. But when they are going for like a mix of new actors, basically the other Scrubs and like the learning hospital ones.
That's its own separate thing. That's like Scrubs 1.1 or whatever. 1.2-ish.
We don't want to get into Evangelion numbering here.
We're doing, that was kind of like a patch. Now we're getting an upgrade here.
Okay.
We'll get a full upgrade.
Okay.
Yeah. But when it's like shows like your Malcolm in the Middle, where Scrubs has the benefit of that you get to tell sort of the same story, since you get to be in the same hospital, I would assume, with the same characters, and you're going through similar problems for the most part. I mean, of course, you add in the age aspect to all this that everyone's going to have to go through, but Malcolm is different.
Yeah, that is a bigger sort of genre leap. Fun fact, the original hospital that they shot Scrubs in doesn't exist anymore.
Because didn't they blow it up not too long ago, in fact?
It got demolished and is like is like condominiums or something now.
As
like
it
most
should
things
be, because
are.
it's an old hospital.
It was old even when the original production was in it, but it will be a different physical building when they come back.
It got an upgrade.
Yeah, potentially, hopefully. The Malcolm jump is a little bit different, because the magic of the Malcolm in the Middle premise was following the middle brother in a chaotic middle class quote unquote household, and the coming of age, the like classic going through puberty, junior high, first kiss romance tropes and all that. That is all classic ground, and they had a very fun, unique take on it. Now that it's going to be, Malcolm is 30-something years old, and all of his brothers are also full adults. Different dynamic. Hopefully still funny and good. We know all the actors and whatnot are still going to be there to do the characters well, but you're doing a different thing this time.
Basically taking what is sort of like this youthful teenage coming of age story, now you're turning into a little bit more of a How I Met Your Mother sort of situation-ish, kind of, with the adult relationships and all of that stuff, and how they deal with the family now.
Which I think is, because the prime audience for a remake is going to be the original audience who also aged up in the interim time, that does make sense to kind of pivot to the lessons and stuff that those folks are going to resonate with more now, because they are also similarly further away from their childhood years and whatnot, have had the time to have similar situations. But that does mean it will be less appealing for the young kids, the teens and whatnot, who could get into the original Malcolm much easier.
Which show do you think has sort of the bigger expectations? Like, if this goes wrong, you could not only spoil this guy, but potentially some of the OG stuff that you did, where if you crash and burn, the plane does kind of blows up on takeoff here.
I think the expectations are unfortunately going to be a little higher for Malcolm in the Middle.
Really?
I think so, just because of like Frankie Muniz in particular, has kind of a Macaulay Culkin-esque aura about him now in his adult years, because he did the similar step away from acting for a time. There's that element of, he's back and is it a money grab type of thing. I think, Bryan Cranston, having gone on and done all of his Breaking Bad, all the movies that he got to do and series after that, has, put himself at that A level of actor, whereas I think Scrubs is going to have, in general, lower expectations for like a casual audience, but higher expectations from the diehard like Scrubs heads.
I think that's fair. The one thing I will say is Scrubs is going straight on to that network television, though, where Malcolm kind of does get a hideaway behind a little bit of a behind a paywall, of the streamer.
Yeah, which checks out to me because, I mean, original Scrubs had the kind of same thing where it was a broadcast show, and while it was a medical drama and just kind of filling the airwaves with that because it had a unique comedy premise built into it, it caught its own audience that way. Again, I don't think the Malcolm reboot is necessarily trying to wrangle in a new audience as much as I think they know they're talking to the previous show's audience pretty directly, versus the Scrubs remake, again, because it's not taking such a leap it's still going to be a medical drama comedy, a hybrid that will still be able to, like, you won't have to necessarily probably have seen the original to hop in and have a fun time with Scrubs.
For you, and I guess people of your age, which means more to you? Because Malcolm in the Middle holds a very strong heart in the 30-plus age, which I'm not quite ready to join or yet to join.
Yeah, but you were closer to Dewey's age. Of the brothers.
I didn't get Malcolm in the Middle because I was the littler guy around the time Malcolm came out.
Yeah, it was a little higher brow comedy going on there. Although Dewey is a hilarious character, and it is a shame that we don't get to see, because I will say, of the elements of the show, Dewey was kind of a wild card all the other brothers end up with like some sort of path that they're kind of leaning down or like have developed into themselves of like where their life might be going. Dewey was like, by the end of it, kind of just pure wild card of, he was doing the comedy bits still, but like if you extrapolate that out to what does that make him as an adult, and then that will be the sad thing. I'll be interested to see how they like write it out that we're not gonna have Dewey around. So, what was the original question? Which
one means more to you, I guess? Because you were around for both of them, around appropriate age for the most part.
Yes. I think I have more emotional attachment to Malcolm, just because I was, kind of right in that pocket of aging along with him through the show, and it was in a good Fox rotation on like Sunday nights or something, I think. That being said, Scrubs is an all-timer for me as well, but it didn't have that like, maybe if I had studied medicine at some point or something, it would have a little bit more of that close personal relationship. Is Scrubs closer for you or more important?
Scrubs for me, for sure. It holds a closer place to my heart. I didn't study medicine, but going through everything with JD and sort of seeing him along his journey meant more to me because I watched it as an adult versus Malcolm in the Middle. I did not get to enjoy sort of in that sort of pocket age that I think I would have enjoyed it most as.
Yeah, for sure. And that's a funny thing about, how just like that little distance and timing can change how we appreciate those.
For these stories, right? Brand new reboots coming up. Is there one that you are more excited for, or that you are holding your breath a little bit for, that they could potentially just not hit right?
Of these two that we've discussed, between Scrubs and the Malcolm reboot, I think the Malcolm one has the higher chance of falling on its face a little bit, missing the mark, just because I do think the Scrubs one is just a little easier to, with all the original like cast and everything, get that same mojo back and working, but because of the shift out of following kids and now having it be an all adults thing, I do think there is that potential in that one for a stumble.
That's fair. Is there a reboot that you are still holding your breath for, that you still want? You've, for the most part,
I've gotten a lot.
I was going to say, in the list of shows that you've really wanted, like, I think the big one on your list that you could have asked for was like Clone High, but we got
a Clone High, yeah. which I haven't actually even.
It's actually really good. It's
I-
worthwhile.
I believe it because it was a good show in the first run. I mean, I can dig deep in my bag of shows that no one remembers and say Mission Hill.
Mission, is that an MTV guy? If I remember, I don't remember where that.
I think it did have a run on MTV at some point. That was part of why no one has seen it, because it did not have a very good run.
Yeah, some obscure ones that have popped
It ended up on
MTV.
Adult Swim for a little bit, but didn't really stick there, I think. So I have one of the only copies of it on DVD that I've ever seen anywhere in any location. And I might be one of the only keepers of this show,
You may hold the whole archive.
which is fun, and I'll show it to anyone who wants. I'll upload it to YouTube. No,
Yeah.
someone will probably.
Someone's be like, "Oh yeah, I remember this vaguely."
There's definitely some Mission Hill heads out there.
Some little, what is it called when it's the cult classics?
Yeah, it's definitely in that genre.
And speaking of stories that we're not done telling yet, the who owns the Warner Brothers is still up for debate. Netflix, I think, will ultimately come out the winner. Their new push is going to be pushing for movies. With the Stranger Things, they said, hey, we're going to release some of this in theaters, at least the last episode that was essentially movie length at that point.
Was it just like 3 episodes?
No, it was the last episode was a full 2 hours.
Oh, gee, they just called
It's a
that
full-
one episode.
Yeah, it's a full
Okay.
movie, basically, that they released out into theaters and said, hey, friends,
That checks
if
out.
you would like, you can come hang out and watch it on the big screen.
I mean, that is the sort of thing you have to do, because, like, imagine having, not having seen it yet. I'm not sure, what the procedures are, but you having seen it, would there have been a point anywhere in the middle where you'd be like, yeah, chop that and make that 2 episodes?
No, I don't think you could. You could, but
It'd be sad and unsatisfying.
yeah, you give it. I mean, you're gonna end up on a cliffhanger, which is like the point of an episode.
And
for
since
this,
you're
but
at the end already, yeah.
you just might as well get through. I don't know about you, but I kind of do like, if we're gonna finish something up, just give me a heaping dose of that guy.
For sure, I would rather, like, I do prefer when a show breaks its, like, formatting. Yeah, like if it's been 30-minute episodes all along, and then you have to do, like, an hour and a half one for the finale. I'd much rather you do that than forcibly break it into, and then, like, have to re-scramble it into
To be continued.
a bunch of cliffhangers, which some shows didn't really have a choice back in the day. Like a lot of cartoons, you don't get to break the format.
You don't get an option.
But when the creators are given the freedom to, I do prefer when they do that.
Yeah. And Netflix did learn from this, like, hey, movies are a little bit profitable. You can make some money there. And like, we're not going to completely eliminate movies anymore.
2025, the year Netflix learned movies can also go in theaters.
Yeah, they're like, that's not so bad. We'll leave it in there for an obscure amount of a number they chose. Like 17 days is what they decided on.
Yeah.
I'm
sure some algorithm spit out that number for them of like
Chat
peak number.
Chat GPT, how long does this?
How long do I put my movie in theaters for to make the most money?
Before we hit streaming. But for us as consumers, I mean, we have a little bit different perspective, because I'm just a pure consumer, no creative, except for this podcast here. And you as the creative consumer, for me, that doesn't hurt my head, right? Because I can go see it in movies if I want. And then if I don't, it hits my streaming services sooner than later.
Having actually seen, because there are quite a few different projects by people in the Dropout universe who have used some of the fandom from that streaming service to help fund Kickstarters for their own movie projects. And yeah, seeing people like Grassroots have to try and get movie distribution is crazy, and it seems very difficult. I don't know if you followed the saga of Markiplier's movie getting made.
I did not. I know he had one get made, and it did end up in theaters.
It just released earlier in December. It is a movie called Iron Lung, and set the record for most fake blood used in a major movie production. It took 3 years, because if you followed his channel, he continued, like, pretty transparent on when uploads got disturbed.
Which, if we're considering, like, a creator of his caliber is struggling to get the movie made, right? And there are some, like, everyone kind of puts gates around what they do because he's technically a YouTuber, but he knows how to create things, and he has, I would assume, some significant amount of means to do so.
I mean, yeah, he's certainly, well funded in through his YouTube career. He amassed enough, capital to be able to put those projects together. Also, not his first attempt at making a movie. He made a space movie as well. That was like a YouTube original a few years before that. That was like his trial run at filmmaking, directing. And Leo has just sent me a note here that I can correct myself. Iron Lung releases nationwide January 30th, but it was a matter of when the movie first released, was announced as releasing in theaters, there was, I think, about a dozen nationwide, just individual theaters that had it. And then thanks to fan outcry, people literally calling their local theaters and being like, please get this movie so I can come watch it.
I would imagine, especially in these 12 whatever theaters that you get, they're going to sell out of tickets and not everyone's going to be
and they're going to be small theaters too. They're not going to be big IMAX 200 seaters. But because of the immediate and huge demand that theaters nationwide got, Iron Lung is now releasing in basically every AMC, every all the big name theaters across. He went from literally a handful to thousands of showings in about a week.
Good on him.
But that's the kind of star power you need to get a movie into to movie theaters under your own power if you don't have a big mega corporation funding it.
I'm curious now that we've kind of dipped our toe into this. You are probably the first one, if you are going to consume media story, whatever, do you prefer it to be on a movie scale, or do you want it to be on a TV show format / streamer, or do you like it to be on the tubes of the U's? Because your generation is kind of the first to
have the option,
have all these options, and sort of built all these creators up to do so.
It's an interesting question because there are definitely some filmmaker movie types who are very offended by the notion of watching a major motion film on a phone screen that's not big enough to do justice to the work.
As being one who has consumed a movie on just a phone screen, it's horrendous. I hate it. I do not advertise it, just as a media person in general.
Yeah, it's certainly not your plan A for way to consume long form media, I would say. When given the option, in general, it is best to have just a movie that we've harped on a few different times in the history of the podcast already. The Last Jedi, the controversial best Star Wars movie there is a completely different experience in the theater versus rewatching it at home, whether that be on a TV or on a monitor or whatever. There is a magic to the theater experience that the others do not replicate, but I don't think that's a good enough reason to not still watch movies on those other formats outside of the phone. The phone is a bad movie watching experience.
The tablet?
A tablet screen is pretty much an immediate upgrade, yeah. And it's really more a matter of personal endurance on how much your head, neck, and eyes can withstand the strain, or if you can configure yourself in a weird goblin nest position, which I've seen a few different configurations of in my days. Some people know how to jury-rig themselves a setup where the tablet is right in front of their face and it's all good.
Hey, whatever works,
Yeah, absolutely. If you were willing to put in the engineering work on the setup, you can kind of make it work however you want. But there is a little extra juice to me of the full movie theater screen that takes up your entire view, and the other element to it that is very important that can be taken for granted is the audio sensations that a movie theater can provide that most only a few handful of movie freaks set up their home audio systems in the same
you can only
level.
get the level of boing that you need in some of the movies.
Exactly. Very specifically, from The Last Jedi, though, the Holdo maneuver is seared into my brain for how good that was, with all of the sound design going on of the big pitched space battle, and then it just cuts flat for the dramatic light spear and whatnot. And there's the little vacuum of silence, and then it just roars back at you where everything, like all the sound comes back in. It's really brilliant use of filmmaking technology to deliver an experience that is not like literally possible in the real world.
That's fair enough.
Those are those magic moments that I think make good movies.
Hey, fair enough. Back to our original question and original topic of Netflix getting kind of taking over Warner Brothers and why do we care so much? A little bit earlier, not too long ago, we went through sort of a bracket of all of our top favorite sort of Cartoon Network shows, and we whittled down to your favorite being Samurai Jack, which you predicted through some heartbreak, of course, through.
Yeah, it's a real shame no one could have gone on that journey with me. It was harrowing stuff and probably would have been pretty entertaining for a good 20 minutes or so.
Luckily enough for you, you guys get to hear the exact winner. I mean, some of the others coming through this is, of course, we have your favorite other being OKKO and some of that new bracket, the Gumballs of the world that are still being made today. Steven Universe, nothing to sneeze at there. Craig of the Creek, kind of coming from that same.
I mean, funnily enough, that Fiona and Cake out of the Adventure Time branch, it doesn't get mentioned because they're an HBO.
Yeah, they're kind of their own little thing, but Adventure Time is there with them. I mean, the Adult Swim
We had
stuff,
3 different Jindy Tartakovsky entries in that
which
bracket.
Is stupid.
Between Dexter's, Primal, and Samurai Jack. And we could have had a 4th one if we had done the 2D Clone Wars.
He can't get so much love.
I mean, it's not my fault. He's got banger after banger after banger.
He did. Unfortunately, the 2D Clone Wars didn't last long enough. It's just the cute short little guys. They are very, very good.
They're extremely good, and technically are the 3D ones got there too at this eventually, but they're both the last episodes both perfectly transition into episode 3, the movie.
I do prefer the 3D one only because I get more story. Whether it's all good or not, up for debate, but I'd also prefer not to have the whole story to fit on a YouTube video. But there are some very long YouTube videos out there.
Yeah. Don't be dissing the folks that love the 10-hour upload.
Ain't no way it's a 10. Well, there are some 10-hour.
There
uploads.
are definitely 10-hour loops out there.
That's what people are sleeping.
As
on.
soon as YouTube made that, like, upped the limit on how long a video could be, and now that I don't think there is a cap.
I think there still is a.
I saw someone upload like a 2,000-hour video.
That's no.
Yeah.
Your computer's going to burn up.
It's definitely burned up a few data centers for YouTube.
For sure. But some of the old G favorites, like you said, Dexter's Lab, Sheep in a Big City, which holds a special place.
That was a tough one to cut.
Courage.
Mike Lou and Og, all of those ones that came out of the cartoon pipeline of like getting animators a little chance to make a pilot and see if anyone likes it. And more often than not, hang on. Do you remember, because I can't think of it off the top of my head, the name of the show, I think it was a Cartoon Network, blonde guy, kind of Guy Fieri with like a flannel vest. And
Are you talking about Johnny Test?
No, not Johnny Test. Although I see where you were going there with the description. No, this was he was like a car guy, and eventually ended up making. He also had his friend character was like a skinny dude with a black jacket and a beanie hat, and they like worked on muscle cars, and then an alien lady, space ranger lady, comes and lands, and then they have to convert the car into like a battle mech.
Oh, I know exactly what show you're talking about.
Yeah. And that was a solid, like, that one didn't get enough runway.
That one has another cult classic finishing, but that's one of the ones that unfortunately we never got an ending to. They pulled the rug on that one.
That was a pull the rug scenario for sure. Really pulling deep in here, but old heads know. SWAT Cats, The Radical Squadron.
That one's a Nickelodeon one, I want to say.
I'm looking it up right now to find out where I was.
Pretty sure that's a Nick guy, if I remember correct.
There's a Hanna-Barbera cartoon, which was normally shown on Cartoon Network. Its original release, though, was on TBS. Exactly. From 1993 to 1995. How did I even see these?
How did you see this?
Because I certainly was not tuning in to TBS for cartoons.
What's Ted Turner doing with cartoons.
I mean, the 90s were a wild time. Everyone was trying something, I guess.
This is a 90s show?
SWAT Cats, yeah. And it's a real shame that no one had, like, not enough folks have the nostalgia for this one. I think I keep getting an ad for a Kickstarter that's trying to revive it.
So there's 2 shows I found, 2 which are, I haven't seen one. One is very, very good. There's Mega XLR.
Yep, that's the one I'm thinking of.
That's crazy. But there is also, if you've not seen, worthwhile to go look up, Symbiotic Titan, which is
another
very,
Jendy Tartakovsky.
It is, but also another Cartoon Network cult classic that didn't get a finish.
That one also not given enough like leash to build its audience and get enough episodes out before they pulled the plug on it. But yeah, both excellent pulls there out of the deep archives.
Insane. Also, that man needs to be stopped.
Nay, absolutely not. You keep that man pumping out cartoons until the day he dies, and I will keep chomping him up. Num 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 num. Primal season 4.
I was about to say, are you? You're probably one of the only people who's continued on with Primal. I stopped for a little bit. I got a little sad.
I mean, they were. I think again there was a little production hiccup.
They did stop for the COVID stuff and whatnot.
Yeah, and that was.
Because I know we started it during COVID.
We definitely watched season 1. I think 2 came out
Much later.
Yeah, and that was kind of the big hiccup. But I still have to catch up on 3.
Can you imagine being so good you have to get nerfed to where you don't get to use words anymore? You don't get to have voice acting?
That was a intentional choice. That's him being like, well, I'm already doing it with one arm behind my back. How else can I handcuff myself?
Why do the rest
All right, blindfold me.
Why do the rest of you guys suck?
Yeah. No, we are very lucky to be alive in the same era as one of the all-timers in animation history. Jendy's going to go down as like up there with the Hanna-Barberas, up there with Dave Baxter, I think was like the 90s Land Before Time style.
Is there any animation that you would say beats a Tartakovsky? Anyone? We went through like we said, we went through the Cartoon Network one. There's nothing there that beat Samurai Jack, and Primal went further than I had expected for, and it faced off against Dexter's Lab, which was also Tartakovsky. So it was a Tartakovsky final.
It was kind of like, what flavor of storytelling do you want out of his palette there? Everything Jendy makes is a banger. I would say right underneath is my... I can't single out a single one because there's so many of them, but the sort of Chowder Adventure Time animation school branch that came out of the Pendleton Ward, Rebecca Sugar on Steven, Ian Jones-Cordy with OKKO,
have you
Craig Bartlett with his Craig of the Creek.
Have you sat through all the Chowder? Did you do a Chowder run?
No, and that was part of the reason like why the Adventure Time era kind of caught me by surprise, because I was not following along with the Chowder era.
Yeah, I'm so surprised because you being the food sort of type of guy, it is literally
all busy
about the food.
I was like, oh, there's no Teen Titans on Cartoon Network right now. I'm out of here. I don't remember what I was doing at the time. I would come back in for Toonami, and that was about it.
It's got Bender in it. It's great.
Oh, yeah, it's got a bunch of people. It's got the guy who ends up voicing Gideon, Lil Gideon from Gravity Falls.
Oh, yeah.
It does a bunch of other stuff, too.
Would you pick any one of their... You wouldn't... Well, we know you wouldn't pick any one of their animations versus...
I can't put them over Samurai Jack, but they're going to be the next tier right underneath of, like, giants of this era, for sure.
I mean, when it comes to cartoons, and there's nothing that beats Cartoon Network, which rightfully so it should be. Like, I can't do the magnitude of the list that I did with a Nickelodeon or a Disney.
Yeah.
But is there any one of their animations that you'd take up and say, I want this over Samurai Jack or Dexter's Lab or Primal or anything else that Tartakovsky has done or may do?
Oh, boy. Yeah,
it's... Like there's some really, really good ones. Each one has some standouts. Disney has, of course, the Gravity Falls and the Owl Houses and some other things that they do really good.
Princess
Big City Greens.
What is it? Star versus the Forces of Evil was pretty solid.
Nick has a little bit of rougher time, but like their mainstay is SpongeBob for the most part.
They're SpongeBob. They're Fairly Odd Parents and all of the
Butch Hartman's. For the most part.
Butch Hartman school of cartoon stylings over there. If you go deeper back, you had your Rugrats. Can't really pull anything else from that era, though.
Rugrats, Rocco.
Oh, boy.
Cat
Rocco's
Dog.
up there. Rocco's definitely up there, though.
Those ones, it's like the you have your sort of normal superheroes and whatnot's going on. The Nickelodeon's like, we are wacky over here.
Yeah, a little absurdist, but also a little bit more like, slice of life, sitcom-y.
Yeah, Rocko's Modern Life, Cat Dog, which both are
Which
potential
was
nightmare fuel.
Yeah, a little strange out there. Ren and Stimpy was also Nickelodeon back in the day.
Rocket Power.
Oh, Rocket Power is up there for sure too. That is definitely, that captured an era, like a time capsule of 90s where, God, it was cool to have rollerblades.
Rollerblades, you're playing hockey in the middle of the street, even if you're in the middle of Hawaii or wherever. Or I think
they were in
Hawaii.
California.
I thought they were in Hawaii.
They were, the dad and his Hawaiian best friend set up a food stock on the boardwalk in San Francisco or something.
Thought they were in Hawaii, but either way, shouldn't be playing hockey in California anywho.
No. This was post Gretzky.
Mighty
hockey,
Ducks time.
Yeah, street hockey was still very cool. God, I miss being able to play street hockey.
You're too old now, but you do get the memories of all the very awesome shows that you get to be nostalgic over.
Indeed. It's not like a thing I want remade, but it's just hard to find the original version of from the Toonami era. It was Tenchi Muyo because it had its one original series, and then kind of like Gundam has a bunch of variations on, like, they're all in the Gundam universe, but this one's its own like standalone story. Tenchi kind of did a similar thing where, like, here's a new, it's all the same characters from the other one, but this is a slightly different version. Like, the universe works is a little bit different in this one. And I can find those really easy, but the OG just has disappeared into the mists.
It's like, what is it? The Bearstein Bears?
Oh, the Mandala effect?
Yeah.
Maybe. It could be. Some of those, I think, just people are lying, though.
There's apparently, or we have parallel verses, and the timelines are all over the place, because I've seen people who have the two of the books that are like different.
It's true. There's universes where, even in our universe, it is just both things happened. Both versions were out and about at the same time or something. Oh, and there is also, potential for multiversal bleed, but we don't want to get into quantum string theory this late into the episode.
Fair enough. But looking forward for us, I think some people I ask, why do we care so much about the Warner Brothers? And it's because we have the Cartoon Network. They literally hold not only the childhood, but also all these great stories with...
Oh, I think I've just got the inspiration. I think I'm going to put you through a Warner Brothers bracket next time.
No, I think we'll be fine.
And because I think that is the answer to the other animation house that could compete with Cartoon Network. You got your classic Looney Tunes, your Batman the Animated Series. I'm going to do some digging here. We'll find some fun,
you don't need to
hard choices to
do some digging. But I think there's opportunity there for us to give life to something that kind of has felt dead for a long time. Because even looking right now, Cartoon Network is running Teen Titans Go, We Baby Bears, which isn't terrible. They brought back Tiny Toons, but in a reboot format, which is doesn't quite hit the same as it did when we were the youths.
Sure.
They have one more called The Heroic Quest of the Valiant Prince of Ivadon, which I've never heard of.
Yeah, it's a new IP.
And then they have a bunch of acquired stuff, the Totally Spies, Total Drama Islands, the Inyuan, this is the African one they did.
Yeah. That's
Inyanu.
Yes.
That's
an interesting
HBO.
one that I
and
have
then
not followed on.
The rest of them they're doing, of course, Ben 10, Adventure Time, the regular shows, your Gumballs, your Looney Tunes, and then Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, a lot of known quantities there.
And then there's nothing else. So they have 4 or 5 original stuff that they do, and then we're just going to replay the old
classics,
stuff.
And then the rest of the library.
Yeah,
does not exist.
They even have a programming block again called Checkered Past, which is just stuff that we just discussed
from that era,
from
the good stuff,
the good era.
Yeah. That's unfortunate that they treat it that way, but what are you gonna do?
Pray that Netflix can fix it, please.
That is the hope, that Netflix is a better steward of the content, but based on how we know Netflix operates now, they are also not huge fans of keeping things in the library and just forgetting about them and leaving them up for everyone to enjoy forever. So yeah, we'll have to see. Again, the whole WB sale to Netflix does still have some hurdles to clear, but outside of a big, surprisingly jump in competence from our United States Congress,
or another wild and amazing act from Paramount.
An even bigger swing than $107 billion in cash straight up. Yeah.
And we also have an island that you may be interested in.
Yeah, outside of some strange scenario like that, it's probably going to happen, but it's still not a done deal.
Yeah, I just am more hopeful than what the merger did for me, which was nothing. They did so good for about a month, and they said, I hope you enjoyed that. It's about to get real bad here, guys.
Yeah, that was the transition month when no one was really sure who their boss was at the moment, so everything was fine.
Yeah, I liked it. I missed the transition. It was a good time.
Well, you'll definitely have one more of those whenever the sale does happen, and then we'll see.
Can't go any worse. Speaking of transition, talking about the transition over to these sports here, and the transition of what used to be my Denver Nuggets team into the Denver team that are also the Nuggets.
Jamal Murray and the backups.
It's like Jamal Murray and crew.
Yeah.
It's very much like a band, and we have rotating drummers and guitarists and bassists all over the place, background dancers, all that.
Jamal Murray and the bet you didn't know they played for the Nuggets.
We have the sort of the mainstays. The rotations are kind of crazy.
No, it's a very good thing that we have the depth this year that we do.
Oh, God.
Or otherwise.
From the 2 games that we've played thus far, we have not looked as inept as we did last year when we did not have the Jokic.
Yeah.
It was bloodbath after bloodbath, but now we're actually competing against some really good teams, and we will compete with some teams that we should probably beat, or that we would have beaten pretty handily if we had at least one more of our guys.
Looking at, so we know Jokic is going to be out 4 weeks minimum until reevaluation. And then Valanciunas got hurt immediately after Jokic went down, which is pretty terrible timing. But basically, like, guaranteed our starting 5 not going to be together for a while. What is our optimal outcome for this upcoming stretch?
If right now we're sitting second, but the West is everywhere right now feels very tight through the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
So as long as we don't drop like completely out of the playoffs, I think we'll be fine. There is some other issues with Jokic missing time, which we can talk about, like how that affects his awards and whatnot. But I think right now is a great time for some of our dudes to step up. Like P. Watt's on a contract year, so he can really find a way to make himself a whole lot of money right now.
And he's already been exceeding expectations.
He's played extremely well in the 2 games that we've had no Jokic or anyone else to help. He's been Jamal Murray's kind of second man, which is crazy to think about, a year removed from where we were last year and how he was playing basically all last year. But this is also time for Jamal Murray to show that he earned that big contract, and to show that he is an all-star.
He is the number 2 guy on the team.
He is the number 2 guy on the team, and he is worthy of an all-star, which I think he could have had earlier in his career, if not for
injuries
the injuries and sort of the slant against Jokic and whoever he may be playing with.
Sure.
Him and Aaron Gordon both.
The moons have never quite aligned where, like, Jamal's playing at his best in the first half of the season when voting is happening, and the politics of things have been favorable to that being an option versus like other guys.
This has been the first year where both have been going well, where he's been playing to an elite caliber level, and he's had the opportunity to show that he is more than just an accessory to Jokic's greatness, essentially.
Sorry, I got a little distracted here. My Avs are currently in action against the Hurricanes, and came into the 3rd period down 2-1. Is now currently 4-3. Good guys.
Speaking of, them guys are taking a wild ride this year.
I kind of wanted to make a PSA video, like, separate from the pod this week, of just like a note to all my fellow Avs fans out there to burn this season into your memory. Have your superstitions, have a ritual around the games, because this is once in a lifetime potentially season we're looking at here. Games we have no business coming back in. Games where I have been like, well, we didn't have our best tonight, and I have gone through the journey.
Which, for the most part, is like the acceptable answer in sports. Like, you are the top team, and sometimes you're just going to lose some games. That just happens.
And this team has said that actually, no.
Are they still only, what are they at, like 3 or 4 now?
2.
They're still at 2?
2 regulation losses through 39 games.
Which is insanity.
Still record-setting pace for the total amount of wins in a season, points in a season, et cetera, et cetera.
They also have to be close to be setting the record for amount of overtimes in a season.
Actually, I don't think so. There definitely been, like, the Blackhawks last year were in way more than we were, because sloppy teams have to go to overtime. I mean, even the 7 overtime losses is not, like, that high for other teams.
You're still getting points.
And that's still points.
I wish we would install this in some other places in all sports, but
No, I do hope all the Avs, and we have a lot of them that are going to the Olympics in about a month or so, are wrapped in bubble wrap, because we are on a magical journey this season in Colorado on the Ball Arena ice rink, and don't wake me up now, because I'm gonna remember every little bit of this one.
All you needed was an old man and a backpack full of espresso to pipe a team up.
I mean, I could not have imagined Brent Burns playing, like, because you see that in the offseason, you're like, we're getting the 42-year-old defenseman to play with the super fast skating team.
My biological age is 36.
Yeah, and Brent Burns has been a revelation. He's all in line to be the next Ray Bourque for the Avs.
There's been a lot of dudes who have been playing extremely well that I would not have pictured playing well.
And a lot of them have been a direct result of the Mikko Rantanen trade. Everything's coming up Millhouse for the Avs this year. We've had the little injury scares here and there, but even then, like,
it has not been as decimating as it has been in the past.
And everyone who comes in to step up has stepped up admirably. A magical season so far, and
have they found the secret sauce now that we were kind of in, especially last year towards the end after the Mikko trade, we were kind of in the figuring out which rotations and chemistries all work together. Do we have all the connections now? Have we got them all figured out?
The funny thing about that is that Jared Bednar loves to do mix-em-ups, change-em-ups, experimentation on a shift-to-shift basis. He is, I would say, uniquely so amongst hockey coaches, very willing to shake his roster up top to bottom, basically. So
he likes to experiment.
But that all being said, he does have he has favorite combos for situations that, like, when he knows he wants this result, he puts this group out there. If we catch their defense on, like, a bad shift or something, bad change, and they're, like, dead tired, you throw Nate, you throw Natchez, you throw Lehkonen out there. If they just threw a big hit and are feeling like maybe they are getting a little antsy, you throw Landeskog, Brock Nelson, and Val Nichushkin out there and show them that, they can't be pushing everyone around. There's kind of a combo and when it's like, oh, they just scored a goal and we need to spend a shift or two down in their zone, like working their defensemen, we're going to put the third line guys out there. And you see some different combos every now and then, but when there's a specific outcome we need, Bednar knows the guys he's going to throw out there.
It's interesting because it really is, for all the coaches, myself even being coaches, a little bit like you're a chef, and sometimes you throw some stuff together and that don't taste right and it can go completely wrong. So we have to go back to some of the old favorites to fix what we just did.
And I think, it's a thing that we're a little bit removed from, but we were both players as well, and we're involved in, I don't know how much in your basketball career you were in lineup shakeups and whatnot, but I definitely jumped all around my lines.
I did not.
In my high school career.
Yeah, I had six basketball players on my
my
team.
You did not have a lot of options.
No.
Yeah, and I had every role from fourth line center all the way up to second line winger.
Nope. I played whatever spot they told me to, and we stayed there. And we moved around when someone else rotated out who couldn't do the same thing. So
Sure.
Yeah.
Gonna go down. If I think if we take the cup this year, CMAC has to get executive of the year.
do we not just give it? We just take it and don't give it back. We just call it good here. We completed hockey.
I mean, there are not many teams and fan bases out on the social medias right now who have any expectation of their team competing with us for 7 games.
The one thing I will say as a sports fan, and particularly a Colorado sports fan, I hate when people root for my team. I hate it so much. I want them, because everyone was doubting my Broncos and saying terrible things, and we played really well. And once they start saying nice things, like, this team's doing pretty good, we do something so terrible. Same thing happens with the Nuggets. Everyone's like, that Nikola Jokic isn't so good. And then it's like, he's actually really good. And then something terrible happens. Like someone steps on his foot and destroys his knee.
Hyperextension, it's fine.
Yes, but either way.
No rips, no tears. Fingers crossed.
It always worries me when people are rooting for my team. I don't like it.
They definitely, on the whole, are better as underdogs.
One thing I will say, especially for the Avs roster as is, and I don't know if it's just because of Nate and Landy and who else is there, but they seem less interested in all the noise, and that just might be a hockey thing overall. Like you're not
a little
not
bit
listening.
of that. I think it also helps that we had the Boston team from 2019 that set the record most recently for most wins in a season, and they flamed out spectacularly in the first round of the playoffs. So that was if you're gonna have speaking of stories, fable of the warnings of hubris and the dangers of getting too full of yourself. It happened really recently, so now our guys can be like, yes, I do remember that. We shan't get too big ahead and think too highly of ourselves.
Pretty sure it's a story of Narcissus or something like that. Something in a Greek story.
Narcissus is the Greek god of vanity and ego.
Yeah, he'd know a tale or two. I'm interested to see what they do. There's always worry for me because very seldomly does a team win both of them cups there.
It's true. I don't think we've had a President's Cup winner be the Stanley Cup winner in.
Has it ever happened?
Not in the salary cap era that I can think of.
I don't know if it might have happened long ago, but I don't know if it's ever happened. That seems kind of insane. I still have a gripe with hockey for celebrating your regular season winner because
it's a thing that a lot of people don't.
I gets it, but I also am just like,
Damn. The most it has happened 8 times in the history of the league, so just a little rare in our 100-year-old league.
Yeah.
The most recent was the 2012-2013 Chicago Blackhawks. That was their first cup in their 3-cup in 6-year run.
Not bad company to have.
It's definitely so it's doable. I mean, that was also one of the teams that is up there in the historical runs of regular season. So hopefully we're more like that team in terms of build than that 2019 cursed Bruins team. But time will tell.
Only time will tell for sure. Time will tell if there'll be a hockey arena inside of Italy, maybe appropriately shaped, maybe not.
Yeah, I mean, its shape should be fine. Size is a little. It's going to be new.
Is the shape going to be fine, or is it going to be? It's fine.
No, I think they did go ahead and prioritize getting the actual oval made, but it just wasn't quite the size of oval everyone was expecting. It's a little smaller than we ordered. Just a little smaller.
Do we get a discount?
I mean, you have to talk to the IOC about that, but yeah, no, it's.
I can't imagine a tight. I guess depending on what size of rink they're playing on, I can't imagine a tighter rink is any good. Tight hockey sounds like a terrible idea.
Well, I think we covered this a little bit when we talked about the Olympics last time, but the international standard size rink is much bigger than the NHL size rink.
So smaller is fine. You're a little bigger instead of bigger.
The problem is we were going for NHL size rink on this Olympic game. That was kind of one of the caveats of getting the NHLers over there.
Is there? I assume there's probably no difference in hockey rinks as we moved from college to the NHL or anything like that.
No, generally North America, the collegiates, the juniors all use NHL standard. I'm pretty certain.
Good. So we're all we failed at the bare minimums. We like it.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean,
Tight hockey sounds like it's still like a horrible play, and unless you are a psycho strap blocker, that's all good for you. But
it is going to be a little bit more clogged, physical game theoretically. You can still break it open with speed, but that's a rarer trait in your international scene.
So you just need really, really good players. All signs pointing to Canada taking this one.
I mean, you kind of always put Team Canada as the favorite in any international hockey competition, but yeah, I would say so. They also have the most Avs of any of the international rosters, so that's also a good sign.
Good and bad, you know.
The potential for catastrophic injury goes up infinitely. Yeah,
Exponentially.
That might be the one I'm looking for.
Exponentially as you continue to add players.
Yes, which we would love to avoid.
Yeah, it's fine. We got our goalies. They'll
Yes.
be safe at home in the lumberyard waiting.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Blackwood did go down with an injury after the St. Louis game earlier this week, but
Massacre.
yeah, an absolute whooping. But the 4 games, we should be able to be okay.
Yeah, Wedgewood has been really good this year as well. So
Indeed. Still the top goaltending tandem. There's about maybe 6 teams that have a single goalie who has better stats, but no one has a 1-2 combo with as good a numbers as us.
that's fair. That's a good problem to have.
It's the better position to be in than having a really good
guy
and then a backup.
The drop down is not good.
Mm-hmm.
Hockey's a weird. I guess nowadays it's more common to have sort of the you get the rest versus you are an everyday kind of goaltender sort of thing.
The era of the workhorse goalie, like the Patrick Waugh style goalie, where you anticipated of 82 games he was probably going to play 70.
That even feels low, a little low.
I mean, 12. If you think about 12 games off, that's maybe like 3 games off a month.
Yeah, but everyone else is playing 82-ish.
Your regular position players, sure, for the most part.
Well, what's the difference? That guy in the back's got bigger pads, and he's not skating anywhere.
Yeah, but you run them out there too many times, and all of a sudden they start letting goals in. Yeah, I think that is mostly it's just a pattern thing. Like we'll keep running them out until they start letting in goals, and then we'll switch them out and let the other guy go.
Insane to think that you just start letting in goals and switch out and not. You gotta get a refresh.
Yeah.
With that being said, of course, the Denver Broncos are trying to finish their story off here. Week 18 in the NFL was tomorrow, January 4th, taking on the Chargers, who are sitting a bunch of people's. Really, this game really only matters for Denver for seeding. When you get the number 1 seed, without a question, lose, and you might potentially slide down to that 3 spot, which is nasty. We do not want to be in a 3.
No, absolutely not. Home field advantage, extra week of rest, extra week of scouting. The benefits to being the 1 seed are many and numerous, and
There is
very good.
truly no benefit to being the 3 seed other than you make the playoffs.
Basically, yeah. It's the best loser position in making the playoffs. Were there any other matchups in our Week 18 that are
I mean,
playoff dependent?
everyone kind of behind us. So New England's matters, Jacksonville matters. If Jacksonville wins, they can slide up to 2. If they lose, they stay where they are. If they win and we lose, they can slide all the way to 1, and we slide down to
because they have the
2 or 3.
tiebreaker.
Yeah, they have the tiebreaker between us, and I think I don't know if they have the tiebreaker between New England or not. That's a good question. I would assume so.
Yeah, I would think so as well.
Their division record is probably much better than. Well, they have to because Jacksonville beat everyone in the West, and I think New England unfortunately lost to the Raiders in Week 1.
It's got me thinking a little bit over our holiday matchups with the Christmas games and then the New Year's week games. Had a lot of injuries pile up and a lot of kind of meaningless matchups. Like we still have a handful of games that are mattering here at the end of the year, but as we're still, getting used to the extended regular season, do we think we're getting our money's worth in terms of like is the extra week resulting in better, like more tense matchups? Because to me, it seems like
so like having this extra week Had we not had this extra week, we'd end here. Denver ends up number 1 spot. We're all good. But having the extra week adds a little bit more strain to us and then gives Jacksonville or New England an opportunity to slide up. So there are some potentials. Really, this week is not as important for the fans as it is for the owners and coaches who you are going to be sitting dudes or pulling back your starters, playing some secondary guys, as well as potentially evaluating maybe this guy is not the right guy for our team, then should not be leading our men. And maybe we're going to look elsewhere, even though he may or may not have just signed a contract.
Yeah, it definitely feels like this is a...
it's a lot of evaluation sort of
it
stuff
is, yeah, but
on.
the extra week definitely does feel like it is to the most benefit of the owners.
For sure.
Owners and management.
From every perspective, from they get money for the extra week. The football is not going to be great, or for the most part, around the league, except for those who are fighting for that seeding, which is us, and hopefully we get work done early enough that we can sit most of our dudes for a good portion of the game, or you're in sort of a space like, I don't know, we'll name some teams that have had some rough history. The Raiders or Cleveland, where this means nothing to you other than, do I keep this guy or not?
Basically, yeah. I think the Raiders are still in competition for the
first
draft
overall.
pick. Yeah.
Yes, they are, because they are sitting at a fantastic 2 and
15, 17.
We should have 16 games on record.
Okay, 2
and 14.
There you go. Ideally, I think from the league perspective, you don't want to have too many teams in that tanking bowl competition of trying to.
They're not a lot. Raiders are kind of running away with it. Cleveland's in conversation.
Because I think it was last week's matchup was Raiders-Giants were kind of the 2 of the top runners for the number 1 pick. And it was, I saw a funny thing. It was the Giants scored a kickoff return touchdown in like the 4th quarter. The first time they'd done so since playing the Raiders a year ago for the number 1 seed. And both times they won the game and knocked themselves out of the running for the 1 seed.
About right. Everyone is still trying to win some games out there. There are some contract implications for this week as well for all the players' incentives, because they don't get paid all their money in the NFL. You gotta hit some marks.
Yeah.
Gotta earn that money.
Yeah. Which there's pros and cons to, I suppose. But yeah, that is kind of the only other thing to be watching. A lot of matchups for this week is just to see who hits their numbers and gets their little pay bump.
I think that is it. Then why don't you wrap up our podcast here?
Yeah, thanks everyone for sticking along for another episode of 321 Presents. It only took us 2 attempts to record it this time. No biggie there. So if you want to give it another listen, that's totally viable option. See if you can tell the spots where we're repeating ourselves or thinking if we're repeating ourselves. You might be able to tell. But no, thank you for making it this far in the episode. Wherever you're listening, on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, on YouTube, we'd love if you could give us a review and a thumbs up, a 5-star rating, whatever metric the app interface you're using has to show that, it's a good product and other people should listen to it. You want to drop a comment on your favorite Cartoon Network show and what your favorite ending of a series might have been. We would love to keep those conversations going, maybe pick them up again in future episodes. You can also find us on the social media. We're on YouTube and TikTok at 321 Pods. And if you ever forget all of that information or just want to find all the episodes for all the shows at 321 Productions, that'll be at 321pods.com. I think that's everything.
It is, and hopefully we'll have some more animations coming up for you that Nick is working on, because everyone loves some animations and some short content.
Yep.
So, but other than that, we will see you guys next week.
Adios.